You say the nation needs to wake up, and I'll talk about you, but what do we need to wake up from or to? What's gone wrong, Piers?
Well, we've had a massive wake-up call this year, obviously, and we know how bad the pandemic has been, both in health terms and economic terms, in mental health terms, all those things. It's been horrendous for many people, for everybody in different ways. But the real issue, I think, that confronts us is what kind of society and life do we want coming out of this? Because we will come out of it, and maybe next year, maybe the year after, but we'll get through it. And then what was happening in the build-up to the pandemic struck me as extremely worrying for society. We've become a society where people were being bullied and cowed and shamed and vilified into no longer being allowed to have an opinion. They were being told how to think and act and behave and speak, what jokes they could find funny, what types of people could speak at universities. And it's all being driven by this very illiberal, liberal, slightly fascist group of wokies, I call them, they think they're really woke to all the world's problems. In fact, what they want to do is not what the originators of wokery wanted, which was to make people aware of social and racial injustice, but to actually drive a new form of lifestyle and to dictate how we all have to think and act and behave. And I just felt it was time to really put this in writing, how damaging this is to freedom of speech and inherently to any democracy.
Define woke for my listeners who are struggling with what the term means, Piers.
Woke originally was intended, it sort of started actually in Abraham Lincoln's day by a bunch of Republicans in an advertising campaign for that election. But actually, it was really driven by a lot of black artists in music and wider entertainment in the 60s and 70s. And it was meant to mean, look, you've got to be woke to social and racial injustice. And it was very well intentioned in that regard. I would sign up to that definition of what being woke is. I think most decent people would. But it's been hijacked in the last 5 years or so by a new type of socially media-driven so-called liberals. And I write this book as a liberal who finds them utterly insufferable because it's no longer enough to make people aware of things. They want to dictate how we lead our lives and every fragment of how we lead our lives, what we eat, what we drink, as I say, how we act, what we find funny, movies, TV shows, statues of great heroes. And I think most people, honestly, frankly, are beginning to get sick and tired of this.